Delicata squash. Tasty, easy, healthy, unknown vegetable. I want to introduce you to one of the tastiest and easiest veggies on the planet, delicata squash. Yes, squash. Now I have a confession. I have only pictures and not video for you on this video because I was finishing the squash yesterday and I did not have 3 hands and I had to get lunch finished to get to an appointment. So I'm sorry, no video of the squash itself, just pictures, but it's still gonna work and it will be okay. So let's introduce you to this delicious food. Delicata squash. Now it's similar in many ways to butternut squash. That's gotten more popular, many people are familiar with that. It is a winter squash, meaning it's generally hard when it's raw. There are lots of seeds in the middle, and you don't eat the seeds and you don't eat the thin rind on the outside. When you cook it, the flesh gets soft and that is what you eat. Very much similar to pumpkins, as in what you do to make pumpkin pie if you were to do it from scratch. Now, so what is the experience of this squash like? Now most vegetables you need to do seasonings. If you do oil, salt, pepper, herbs, spices, cooking stocks, etc. to make them taste really good. Not with delicata squash. Okay, it's different in that sense. Just straight up, not even salt. I absolutely love it. It is fantastic, which is part of why I couldn't wait to take video and not eat it when I wanted to eat it. I would rather actually have it for dessert than almost any typical dessert, though most of those are kind of nasty anyway. Or it can be part of your regular meal, your main feature, if you will. Not necessarily main feature of your whole meal, but part of your regular plate. It doesn't have to be for dessert only. What does it taste like? It is light, it's sweet, it's pleasant, it's an almost creamy texture. I haven't had any thus far that have been really bitter or had strong overtones or aftertastes or anything like that. Now I will admit my wife is fairly careful when she gets the produce. We do tend to get organic stuff, so that may make a difference. But we have not encountered any real problems in that sense. Pie. Of course you can do pumpkin pie spices on this, you can add other things to it, whatnot. You don't have to, but it will actually make the most wonderful non-pumpkin pie you have ever had. A regular pumpkin pie cannot hold a candle to this. Now I'm convinced that the only real reason that pumpkin squash pie, and yes, pumpkin is a squash, a winter squash, actually became a thing was because they didn't know about delicata squash at the time. The right people at the right time didn't have it, so they went with pumpkin. Homemade delicata pie is now one of our family's favorites. And since we've taken it to a number of family gatherings or potlucks, people taste it, and when they hear we're going to bring it to another dinner or gathering, they get kind of excited. They request it sometimes. It's not just us, if you will. Nutrition. Now, it is not necessarily considered a low-carb food, but it's really not something to worry about either unless you're very sensitive on your blood sugars or something like that. You want to eat it with a mixed meal. It's got lots of fiber, all kinds of vitamins and minerals, just like most vegetables do. This is particularly strong in vitamin A and lutein, like for your eyes, and it even has some omega-3s in it. Now what about cooking? So basically anything you would do with butternut squash, you can do with delicata squash. You can cook it in many different ways. What we do is pretty straightforward and simple, and that's one of the things that most people are interested in is simple and easy. So basically chop, chop, wrap, cook. Start with the delicata squash, chop off the stem, chop it lengthwise in half, wrap it in tin foil like a little boat over the top, bake it. And we bake it, I just asked my wife what she did on this delicata squash just recently. She said 90 minutes at 325. That was wrapped in foil. You don't have to put it on a cookie sheet or otherwise in a dish, but she happened to do that just to make sure we didn't lose any juices. And you're basically cooking it until the juices around it are just starting to think about becoming caramelized or kind of turning into sugar. Just kind of the perfect place, at least for my opinion. So when you go to eat it, it's actually very simple. So like this one that I just finished, pulled it out of the fridge, warmed it in the microwave, gently scoop out the seeds down the middle with your spoon, and then you scoop out the flesh or the meat. The shell or the skin is very, very thin. You don't eat that, as you can see on the plate here, that I did get a picture of. And you eat it. Now, I think on this one yesterday, I did put a little bit of salt on it, but the day before that, when I had the other half, I did the seed skin thing and took a bite or two on the way to maybe put something on it, and it was so good it never made it to the point of getting more stuff put on it. I was very, very happy just eating it plain, straight up as is. Okay, that's how good this stuff can be. So takeaway, if you want super tasty, super easy, and super healthy food, Delicata Squash should definitely be on your short list. I'm Dr. Marc Braman, empowering you to live healthy, happy, whole.